And we are off, leaving behind the beautiful Buena Vista and heading north. Leaving behind internet. We're gonna be off the grid for about a week. And it is a beautiful day already. The sailing is great so far. The main is reefed down, but we're doing over 7 knots already, which is pretty amazing.
We set out for Jamaica Key, but after seeing the conditions there, we opted to move on as we didn't want another day of rolling. We heard on VHF that the ocean conditions were like Disney World, so we decided to head through Man o' War Pass and sail up to Water Cay on the outside. Whoa, big mistake. We had over 20 knots of wind on the beam, as well as 6 to 8 foot seas. It was a very sporty sail.
Oh wow, look at them all. Man, there's so many. Oh, look at them go. Woo! Wow.
By the end of the day, we were very happy to safely drop anchor behind Water Cay in a calm and protected bay.
An enchilada casserole with a homemade enchilada sauce.
Oh, that's my favorite meal.
Is that your favorite?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Another day of adventure on the water. No more lobster, but hogfish today.
Practice our lobster spotting skills.
Yeah.
Nobody said you couldn't grab them, you just can't kill them, right?
Yep.
Welcome to wrestling.
All right, here we go. Well, we did some adventuring this morning out to the reefs and got some fish. We got a hogfish and a grouper here.
What kind of a fish is this? It's a hogfish. And Eileen spotted this one. Great job, sweetie.
Water Cay is a beautiful place to spend a week as it offers great spearfishing, dramatic limestone cliffs, and ocean holes over 100 feet deep that you can dive into. Unfortunately, our stay was cut very short. After spearfishing, we went to explore the island, walking on top of the cliffs. The views were incredible, but there was no path and each step was on top of the low-lying brush. On the way back to the boat, I stepped on one of the shrubs and had a freak accident. One of its small branches impaled my leg just below my ankle bone. When I looked down, I saw the twig sticking straight out of my ankle and I had to pull it out. It was really painful. Back on the boat, I addressed the wound and tried to suppress my concerns because I knew that impalements are very tricky and dangerous. After a fun night with friends aboard Blown Away, my ankle was swollen, discolored, and very painful. We were worried, so we grabbed our sat phone and called a good friend who is a general surgeon. She was not happy that we were in such a remote location, but under her direction, I elevated my foot, started antibiotics, and at midnight, Brown began hot compresses. We eventually went to bed, hoping it wouldn't get worse, but we were prepared to pick up anchor at the crack of dawn and head to Long Island. Thankfully, the swelling is down in my ankle this morning, but it's still really painful. I can't walk on it, and there's no wind, so we decided to motor to Long Island. It's about a 9-hour trip today. Brown and I think it's really foolish to be so far for medical help, so we are on the way to Long Island.
it's just an absolutely beautiful day here on the water. Our plan was to head from Thompson Bay to Calabash, but when we came out here and we saw the conditions and we met another boat on the way who was headed to Conception, they kind of convinced us that Conception would be the way to go. And we also connected with two other buddy boat friends. One's in Conception, one's at Calabash, headed to Conception. So we want to join the party. So we're flying our main and jib right now because to put up the parasail and then take it down and then put up the main and take it down, it's too much on my ankle. I still can barely walk. It's not great for the main at the moment, but it'll get better in about an hour. Well, we rounded the corner from Calabash, headed out to Conception, and things have changed quite a bit in terms of the state of the water. We're now out of the bight and in the open Atlantic, and it definitely shows that we're out of the very nice calm waters of the bight. We've got another 2 hours before we get to Conception and some protection, which will be really good.
Sailing to Conception Island has always been something we wanted to do, so it was the perfect ending to our day to arrive safely with our buddy boat and to be reunited with our friends on Cascadia and Isla. And though I still could not walk on my ankle, at least it appeared to be infection-free.
No! And we are off on our grand adventure. We've got 4 boats with us today. Wonderful friends, and looking forward to checking out Conception.
Conception Island has long been a mecca for sailors, many wanting to experience its beauty above and below the water. Because of its remote location, it is challenging to get to, and often you can only stay a couple of days because the island offers little protection from anything but an easterly wind. In the 1990s, Conception was a favorite dive destination with gigantic, unique, and pristine reef structures and an abundance of wildlife. But since the early 2000s, when the local fishermen started using bleach to hunt lobsters, the coral died and fish life is almost non-existent. Hunting is now prohibited, but while there is little regeneration of the reefs, the enormous structures are still fascinating to swim around. A favorite activity for cruisers is to explore the Mangrove River by dinghy. It is similar to the one at Shroud Key, but this one is much wider and not as long. Accessible only at high tide, the mangroves are a place of safety for baby fish, sharks, and green turtles. We think it's definitely worth a visit.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're gone. Hoping you would stay, but I've always known that you would go and find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, to feel the wind watch the river run, and the sun would always shine. When we sat there, you and I, the river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone.
Ever in the world, and I suffer.
Sarah loves being filmed. Ian, do you love our boat?
I do, yes. I'm gonna figure this out.
I love it.
It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry. River's gonna cry when you're gone. It's gonna cry.